Hugh Freeze keeps adding incredible talent to the 2025 class.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. It's a Charlie Tuesday to all who celebrate. We are joined by Auburn message board legend, the Charlie 5. Anquon Fegans commits to the Auburn Tigers. Derick Smith flips from Alabama and commits to the Auburn Tigers to wrap up. It was just an incredible Monday, Charlie 5. And to me, you've got to ask the question, is this the hottest streak of recruiting that Auburn football has ever had?
There's no, I can answer it 100%. There is nothing that's ever compared to this in the history of me following recruiting. So that's your source right there.
Yeah, it's insane.
I've been in Auburn recruiting like a nut for a very long time. What is it now? 7 commitments in 3 days.
Right.
Never has that happened. Even like on signing day, when you've had multiple guys, pop on signing day, you may have like three or so in a day, but nothing ever like what we've seen, even compared to last year. If you really think about last year, which was one of the hypest Big Cat weekends we ever had, I think this has gone even further and surpassed that. I think it's met all expectations and exceeded expectations. It's insane. And hey, like they say, I don't think it's over yet. I don't think the rewards that we're reaping.
No, there's more coming.
Is over yet.
I'm with you. I think more is coming. And it's not like they just added bodies.
That's the crazy thing.
I mean, they flipped 2 from Alabama. Obviously Derick Smith is now Auburn's highest rated member of this class that you took from your arch rival. Anquon Fegans is your second highest according to On3. And so it's just insane. It's insane. All of them are blue chip players. All of them are top players within their respective state. And what Hugh Freeze and this Auburn staff is doing in the state of Alabama right now, they're owning it. They're owning it right now. After these flips, Alabama's in a situation where they're not projected to get any player in the top 10 in the state of Alabama. Think about that. That is insane, Charlie 5.
It's hard to even imagine that is a real.
Can you even imagine Alabama not getting a top 10 player in the state?
When you're looking into the multiverse, this is not one that's even on the in the multiverse.
Right.
It's the crazy thing is, and I talked about this with a friend of mine. We were talking, kind of Auburn's got a good class, but you only had one top 100-ish player going into this weekend. And now you have 4 or 5, and you're looking at closing another one this upcoming weekend with Jared Smith. Like you just said, it. You're not adding dudes. You're adding not just bodies. You're adding dudes like top 100. These are the top players in the country. Some of the top players in the country in both classes. And just absolutely dominating, putting your foot. This is what I dreamed that Tommy Tuberville would have done.
Sure.
When Alabama was reeling and he couldn't quite get it done, and Hugh's doing it right now, and it's a sight to behold.
Yeah. So now that they're all updated, Auburn has the 6th ranked class on On3, the 6th ranked class on Rivals, and the 5th ranked class on 247 for the 2025 class, and they're the number 1 class right now in 2026. I mean, this is a situation where they were like mid-teens, around 15 across the board going into the weekend. And now they've got, 247 sees them as a top 5 class. And then obviously just outside of it for the other 2. I mean, just the momentum. And the fun thing about it is, like, sure, it's fun getting to celebrate with other Auburn people, but it's also cool to see the national media say, yo, what's happening in Auburn right now?
It's almost as if this was planned. It's almost kind of like this was part of the plan. Everybody was freaking out, including myself a little bit over the last, 3 or 4 weeks and then it pops off, and now all you hear in the headlines, every single recruiting show, every single national show, it seems like, oh my gosh, all the national analysts, whoever, you name them,
Yeah.
what's going on at Auburn. It's almost like, hey, maybe this was part of the plan all along. So maybe we don't need to. When you have a little lull, don't panic. Don't panic. Let's see what happens, because it seems like this has gone exactly to plan. And I don't know that it could be any more hype right now for Auburn, especially on the trail, than it could be right now.
Yeah, and then just the momentum of it. Jared Smith, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but he's announcing on the 3rd. That's Saturday, I believe.
Yep.
And like, it seems like he's picking Auburn. It would almost be a shock at this point if he doesn't. I'm predicting that he picks Auburn. I think you are. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming you are, right?
Elon Musk signed, sealed, delivered with the Cybertruck with Jared Smith to Auburn. Supposedly, like, the interior was decked out with Auburn and everything too. It made quite an entrance, almost as cool of an entrance as Anquon Fegans did today to his own announcement in some sort of incredibly expensive.
Yeah, I get so much more excited about those entrances being awesome when I'm comfortable that they're picking Auburn.
Yeah.
Or I'd be like, come on, get over yourself. But I showed my wife, we're eating dinner. I'm like, look at what Anquon rolled up in. And she's like, that seems like a lot. I'm like, it's awesome. He's ours.
Awesome.
Like, this is great.
Yeah, exactly. If it was anyone else, we'd be like, my goodness, get over, like you said, get over yourself.
Yeah, it's like, just go and
act like you've been somewhere before. Act like you've been there before.
That's right.
That kind of thing.
Oh my goodness. So Auburn's in a situation to land 7 of the top 8 players in the state if they get Jared Smith this weekend. And so it's just that top one, Naeem offered. And I mean, you've already seen a few message board folks kind of say, hey, Naeem offered to Auburn is a real possibility. And it's just, there's smoke there. If Auburn lands,
little birdie told me that offered may have been there tonight at Fegans' announcement. So don't have that 100% confirmed yet, but there's a strong possibility that he was there for that announcement. So
interesting.
Not necessarily. That's not his high school. He's not from Alabaster.
They're both in Birmingham. They're both in Birmingham. It's close, but not his high school. Yeah, he goes to Parker.
Maybe he was just passing through. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe just happened to be there. I mean, if that happens, I mean, just the national spin on like what's happening at Auburn, it's just, it continues to swell more and more. And like, there's other guys like, Lockhart is an interesting name who decommitted, and it seems like there's some interest now with him possibly rejoining this class.
Maybe any minute, any day now, honestly.
It's just, it's a wild thing. I mean, we've never seen anything like this before. And it's just the momentum everywhere you look. It's like these talented players, they want to be a part of Auburn's class.
Exactly. I mean, and that, again, that may have been part of the plan. Once you start having the snowball start rolling, everybody kind of wants to jump in. And I'm going to be honest, I think that's a little bit of what you started to see. Like, think about this. I talked about this. The 2026 guys, you had number 2, 3, and 8 commit in front of 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the state for 2026.
That's right.
And then you have top guys in the 2025 class committing. And then these Alabama guys are starting to ready to pull the trigger. So it's just like a snowball effect. And it's like, man, if you can keep this rolling and then have a pretty good start to the season, where could this class end? I mean, if Auburn flips offered, then basically you just decide, do you want to try to flip Grady too? And then you'll get 9 out of the top 10 in the state of Alabama. And like
you get the top 8, right? If you got Grady, you get the top 8 according to On3.
Right. I think you'd be 9 out of 10. I think KJ Lacey would be the only one that you don't get. If
Turbo Rogers is 10.
Turbo Rogers is 10.
Antonio Coleman's 11.
I don't even think Turbo ends up at Alabama. So I'm just going to Alabama may legitimately not end up with one single player in the top 10 of the 2025 class.
Yeah, and they're going to be fine with it because of where their class is going to end. But I'm just saying, long term, like you got to recruit your state that you're in. I don't care what school you are, you've got to recruit the state that you're in. If you're an SEC program, so just absolutely insane. So what does this mean for the Tigers moving forward? That's coming up in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Charlie 5, can you imagine wagering on sports anywhere other than our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook?
Can't do it, won't do it. Not going to do it.
Don't even want to think about it. Makes me mad just thinking about it.
Angry.
This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. It's rather something for everyone every day, all summer long. Auburn's still at 7.5 wins. According to FanDuel.
Pound it.
Pound the over. Pound the over. That's why we're dressed in jackets right now, because there is a freeze. I mean, just all the momentum in the world right now. Head over to FanDuel.com. Start making the most of your summer. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball and the Locked On Podcast Network. So when you look at what Auburn and what Hugh Freeze is doing after Anquon Fegans and Derick Smith joined the 2025 class, I think with what's potentially coming, a legitimate shot at a top 3 class is certainly on the table.
Exactly. The roadmap is there, and it's not that out of left field. I mean, basically, if you were to land one of the quarterbacks, whether it be KJ Lacey, Deuce Knight, and then flip Naheem Alford. I mean, you got Jared Smith coming on the weekend. You got several other guys. Tyler Lockhart. He seems like he wants to jump back in. You could easily be one 5-star away from catapulting up into the top 3. Whether it be Caleb Cunningham, if he likes what he sees from the offense, they're not going to stop recruiting him. Again, the Naheem Alford, it seems like there's some steam picking up there. Man. And real quick, I want to a sidebar, like Anquon Fegans. Let's talk about Anquon Fegans for a minute. Okay.
Please.
This kid, I feel like people aren't going to appreciate this commitment as much because he's been considered an Auburn lock for seemingly almost a year now.
I said this all last week previewing, and I'm like, this is him and Woodby are good players and they're going to get overlooked.
I mean, he's almost a top 50 player. Like he's the top 57. He's the number 57th player on the On3 industry average. So like across the board, he's a consensus top 100 player. So every single recruiting site has him inside the top 100. Like this is one of the better players you've signed in the last several years. Like it's one of the better players you've signed in the last several years. And he's been locked in for a while, and has a big publicity all around his whole announcement, and he picks Auburn. I think you really need to appreciate that. And I think sometimes we're taking guys a little bit 100%, for granted because 100%. They have been seeming like they've been trending towards Auburn for quite a while. Well, this is big. This is very big. I
mean, you could say that about a lot of the folks that committed this week. I mean, I just said Blake Woodby. I mean, he committed around 12:30 or so when everybody was there, which I think is a huge part of it. You want everybody else to see exactly what he's doing, but also the 2026 class, Hezekiah Harris is another one of those guys where it's like he's kind of been seen as a lock to Auburn for a long time, but he's a special player in the 2026 class. Same with Shadarius Tootle. Same with J. Mike, who can. I mean, it's just stacked. It's just absolutely stacked with these guys. But that's just proof that Hugh Freeze and the staff are doing it the right way. Like it shouldn't come as a shock to flip all of these guys because they've spent now years building relationships with these kids.
Yeah, and I don't care what anybody tells you. So when you're at work and your buddy who's an opposing fan or whatever says, "Hey, who cares about the state of Alabama? We recruit nationally, whatever." Those are good. That dries up. I'm sorry. Like there is no business model where it works, where if you're not solid at your home base, that you will succeed long term. Like it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Don't you think if recruiting the state of Alabama wasn't important, I just don't feel like Nick Saban would have done it at Alabama.
Yeah. Not only did Nick Saban do it, his first year, he took several guys in the state literally just to take them. And they weren't even really probably SEC players. It's like, I'm going to get every single one of them. I'm going to show, and I can name you some that he took that never played at Alabama, never were going to play at Alabama, but they were in the top 10 or 12. And it was like, hey, I got to come in and make a statement. Hugh sort of going by that same playbook. But it just so happens that this class is mega deep. Next year's class is mega deep. So you can take all 10 and it's not like you're taking flyers on anybody. So walling off the state early, like think about if you live in Alabama and your territory where your relationships are out in California, like USC's there every day. UCLA's there every day. Oregon is not very far away. Arizona, those schools are
during
there.
During the season when you're recruiting and you've got a home game the next day and it's like, well, we need to go check on our guys. You can drive up to Thompson.
Exactly.
You can drive over to Central Phoenix City. You can drive up to Parker to see Naeem Offord.
You can do a lot of those in multiple in one night. You can't do that if your recruiting territory is, thousands of miles away. It's just not going to happen. And you can downplay it all you want to, but the playbook Hugh is executing right now is massive. It's a massive statement. And now you just got to go do it on the field and sort of solidify the foundation that you've been building.
Can we just press pause on the podcast?
Never.
We're doing it. And just dream for a second. Let's just think about our future for a second, because we haven't really talked about Derick Smith that much yet. And if you want reaction shows to Derick Smith or Anquon Fegans, they're up either on the YouTube channel or in this audio feed. Just scroll down and you'll see them. Be sure to check those out too.
Not gonna lie, I'm starting to sweat.
Yeah, it's hot in here for sure. It's cold. It's freezing on the plains, but it's really hot in our rooms where we're recording this.
Yep.
But when you think 2 or 3 years in the future, and you've got, whether it's Hank Brown, Walker White, whatever quarterback they decide to add in this class, and next to him is a Jeremiah Cobb or an Alvin Henderson, and all the way to his left is Cam Coleman, all the way to his right is Perry Thompson. Maybe you have Derick Smith at the slot. And it's just, as a defense, it's like, hold on. There's a lot going on here. And we can't double any of them.
Yeah. You remember when it was like Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and one other guy, and they did like rock, paper, scissors on who was going to catch basically get the touchdown pass. It's basically going to be
starting to feel similar, man.
Yeah, it's going to be that level of pick your poison. Like, who do you want to be? Who can you afford to let beat you, basically, is what it's going to be, because somebody's going to beat you. Who's the best scenario of if you let somebody beat you or make somebody beat you, which one is it? And honestly, I don't, at least on paper, they got to pan out, but at least on paper, it's hard to imagine a good making the right decision there. Yeah.
But the beauty of it is they've got numbers where, like, if they don't all pan out, like, 3 or 4 of them are going to. Like, Bryce Kane has a shot too. Malcolm Simmons has a shot too.
Like, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then, with the tight end, I think Hollis has a chance to be pretty dynamic.
Rico Walker, we're forgetting about, like, the transfer from last year. Like, there's so many weapons.
I think Ryan G's going to be effective. Maybe not as a pass catcher, but I do think he's going to be an effective part of the offense. He's going to make your team better. It's just, they're getting dudes. Charlie 5, they're getting dudes. It's just, you're 2 years away from having a top 5 roster potentially in all of college football. Like, that's what we're looking at here.
Yep.
And even when Auburn had their best seasons in 2010 and in 2013, ironically enough, their best roster may have been in 2014, 2017. Like, they had talent in certain spots, but across the entire roster, like, they weren't sniffing the top 5 or top 10 when it comes to just overall talented rosters in all of college football. And Hugh Freeze and Auburn, they're about 2 years away, because they'll have the 8th ranked class, wherever this class finishes. I think it's top 5. Next year's class will be top 5. And it's like, well, you do that for 3 years in a row, you've got a top 5 roster.
And the cool thing is, like, you go, like, you play a season and you go into the next year and you don't feel like it's just a completely new team. Like, you're piecemealing stuff together. You're sort of building it. You're building it as you go. And then it's to the point where it's just reload. It's just like next guy up. And I think that's ultimately the goal. And I'm with you, man. If this class pans out, if you can have a decent season, win 8 games, look good. The hype is just going to build even more. And then you'll finish out that 2025 class strong. And then who knows from there? It could get a lot of fun.
So much boog happening. All right. Who's next? Who could join this class next? We discuss in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Ibotta. Charlie 5, can you imagine not getting cash back for just buying normal everyday items?
Sounds crazy.
Why
would you do that?
It is crazy. Ibotta, it's a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop, and you can earn on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies, anything. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. Do you like beating inflation? Can you imagine not beating inflation with Ibotta?
No, I won't.
No,
that's terrible. Terrible.
The
idea.
average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. What would you do if you had $256 just right now? What would you do? Just real quick. Tell me.
I'd probably buy, a bunch of golf equipment, I guess. Probably.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah, it's time that you've joined the over 50 million users who use Ibotta to earn cash back every time they shop. You could be like Charlie 5, get some golf equipment. There you go. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONCollege when you register. That's all one word, LOCKEDONCollege when you register. That's Ibotta, IBOTTA, in the Google Play or App Store, and just use code LOCKEDONCollege. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Factor. Warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Can you imagine prepping your own food right now, Charlie 5?
Why? Why do it when others can do it for you?
Yeah, Factor. Their fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Can you imagine spending more than 2 minutes prepping your meal?
No. Why?
What? Why would you do that?
I would just go hungry.
Like a waste of time.
I would just go hungry.
I'm just not going to eat. It takes more than 2 minutes. I'm just not going to eat it.
No, I won't do it.
Yeah, with 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week. 60 add-ons.
60. Holy
60. 60 add-ons every week.
Every week?
You'll always have new flavors to explore. Real quick, your favorite flavor.
So many flavors.
Your favorite flavor, just real quick.
Bacon.
Bacon. Got it. I'm sure they have it at Factor. Head to factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50 and use code LockedOnCollege50 to get 50% off your first
50
box, plus 20% off your next month.
50?
How are they making money off of this? I don't know. That's code LockedOnCollege50 at factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next one while your subscription is active. Who could be next to commit to the Auburn Tigers? Is it Jared Smith, who's expected to announce this weekend, or could it be somebody even before then? Charlie 5.
I think there could be someone before him, and my guess right now would be Tyler Lockhart. I think he rejoins the class at some point in time between now and when Jared Smith were to announce. That's my guess. What
does it say? Let's assume that's true for a second. What does that say about Hollis Davidson and Tyler Lockhart? They both joined the class. Then they
Antonio
decommit.
Coleman.
Yeah, Antonio Coleman, for sure. What does that say about these guys who are part of the class, they leave, and then they come back? Is that just the staff's relentlessness? Is it them selling something? Or are they looking elsewhere and they're like, no, really, the future that Hugh Freeze is selling us seems better than the future that other people are selling? Like, what do you think that is?
I don't even know what to think, because it doesn't happen. Like, kids don't decommit and then recommit. So, and to get 3 in the same class, it's really, really strange. I think what it is, every single one of them has a unique situation. Every single one of them, it was a little bit different, the reason why they did it. But at the end of the day, Hugh Freeze is relentless. This staff is relentless. So even when kids decommit, they don't write them off. They don't stop. And I think that, it means, it has to mean a ton. Like, I just broke up with you and you're not, you didn't give up on me, basically. So, to continue to just get after it, man. I think nobody outworks them. They outwork everybody. And these are every single one we just named, every single one of those guys are studs. Tyler Lockhart is a college bodied linebacker right now. Like he could come in.
What are some other words you would use to describe his body?
Hulking. I'm uncomfortable, but I'm just going to go with hulking super teen.
Hulking super teen.
He is a definition. He's a definition of it. As a middle linebacker, like there's not really a true middle, linebacker guy. Like there's a lot of hybrid guys, a lot of guys that could play. This is a dude you're going to stick in the middle, and he's going to be a monster, and he's going to hit people in the face. And I think he's going to jump back in this class. Like
Caleb Falk is listed as a linebacker. Is he the only linebacker in this class right now? I'm blanking.
It depends on what you count. Eric Winters. I mean, Eric Winters is sort of a hybrid guy. He could play multiple positions.
I feel like he's going to be on the back end for a lot of it.
Sure. And then
Bryce Diaz, maybe.
I think that may be your most potential for a true linebacker position out of the guys. And he's listed as an athlete. He's very similar to Eric Winters. I think he may be just a tad bigger. But yeah.
I mean, Diaz is listed at 6'1", 205. Like, I don't know. That could be a big safety.
And I've seen Lockhart listed at similar to like Shadarius Tootle size, like 6'3", 220-ish already. So, ready to go. That is ideal prototype linebacker size.
I mean, we're going to have a dude whose last name is Tootle on our team.
I can't talk enough about that guy. I can't say enough.
I love it so much.
Yeah, from the jacket to the name to just everything about it. You
got to hang out with him for a little bit. I mean,
you kidding me? That was
is he going to embrace the boog, you think?
He's got to. He's a little bit quiet, but I think he could be one of those quiet assassins. Like I don't need to talk.
That.
I'll let my pads talk. You know what I mean? And
I kind of want the linebacker that's just going to like.
You don't know what they're going to do. If you're talking, if you're not talking, you're scary. If you're hitting me and not making a lot of racket, I'm terrified. And
here's the only talking I want Shadarius Tootle to do.
Yeah.
When he tackles somebody, just whisper in the ball carrier's ear, Toodaloo. Every time.
Can you imagine? I'm going to take a little card from your book. Can you imagine when Tootle comes off the edge, makes a tackle in the backfield, jars a ball loose, and the crowd's yelling, Tootle. It sounds like they're booing everybody. Tootle.
Oh my goodness.
I can't wait. So
my
boog is at a level. My boog is at a level right now that's unhealthy. It's unhealthy, and I don't even care. It's reckless.
I mean, can you remember a time where the boog was stronger than it is right now? Because I'm having a hard time thinking about it.
I can't sleep at night. I cannot. It's hard to sleep at night because the boog keeps me awake. It just does.
I mean, I woke up this morning and I
sang the fight song.
Anquon Fegans is going to commit tonight. I mean, that's what happened when I woke up this morning. I'm like, oh, we get to talk about Fegans.
My wife
and then Derick flips too, and it's like, this is insane.
My wife punched me last night. I thought I was snoring. She said, "No, you're singing Glory to All Auburn in the middle of your sleep. You got to wake up. You got to stop that. Like roll over, do something."
Yeah, please quit chanting 2 bits. Just stop it. Just stop it.
Everybody stand up and holler.
I just can't help it. She
said, when you yelled track 'em,
it woke up. An Auburn Tiger. Oh, sorry. I just
when you started track 'em, the whole house almost woke up. You got to cut that out.
The dog started barking. It was too much.
It was crazy.
It was just too much.
It was crazy.
How can people check out everything you've got going on?
Find me on
what a show
on Twitter, _Charlie_5. You can find me every single day on the Top Button Podcast. We're going to be booging on it this morning as well. And
my goodness. Yeah, be sure to go check it out. Like the video. Please subscribe. Read all of our written work at auburndaily.com. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.